I feel like I'm someone who knows a decent amount about content creators, streamers, YouTubers, that kind of thing. Maybe less so TikTok. uh, but xQc is one of the like big creators that I don't really feel like I have an opinion on. He's not someone that I've ever like watched, and he's not someone that I've heard like too much about. I know that a few years back he got that like huge contract to start streaming on Kick. And otherwise, I know that he's just like one of the biggest streamers to ever stream, basically. But I don't know a ton about him. And so when I saw this video pop up in my recommended a few months back, I wasn't like the most immediately interested, but I was curious enough to at least click on it. And I skipped around a little bit in it rather than just like outright watching it, and I thought it seemed potentially somewhat interesting. So I kind of kept it to the side in a sense and was like, I'll get to watching it later. And later is now, and now is for a YouTube channel, apparently. So yeah, let's go ahead and give this a shot, I guess, and see if we can learn a bit about xQc, I suppose.
The first rule of being an A-list streamer is brutal, but simple. Once you turn the camera on, you never get to turn it off. To the world, he's xQc, one of the most watched, highest paid personalities on the planet.
xQc is the biggest streamer on Twitch.
The fame, the nine-figure deals, the constant roar of 40,000 live viewers. From the outside, it looks like the ultimate success story. But that is not the story you're about to see. This story is much darker. Because sometimes you get everything you ever wanted, just to lose everything that ever mattered.
Get nothing. You're not the victim here.
Now, every story about a downfall starts somewhere, and for xQc, it started at the top. Felix Lengyel was a professional gamer turned full-time streamer. Online, he went by xQc, and by early 2018, he'd already built a massive following. Over 200,000 people followed him on Twitch, and every night, thousands tuned in just to watch the madness unfold.
Nobody will take my virginity ever.
xQc was the definition of an internet troll. He talked weird, said whatever popped into his head. And yeah, he wasn't exactly the cleanest guy around, but that's not really the point, because he could make quite literally anything entertaining. Back then, the magic was in his reactions. It really didn't matter what happened. Dying in game, getting stream sniped, some annoying TTS donation. He'd explode, lose his mind, and somehow make it hilarious. But over time, the chat started catching on. They realized that the more they pushed him, the better content got. So it kind of became this game. Who could piss him off the most? Who could get the biggest reaction? Every week, the stunts got worse. And what started as harmless trolling was slowly turning into something meaner. The line between the stream and real life was starting to blur. And in about 2 seconds, someone was about to take it too far.
I'm coming out, coming out, coming out.
Oh, what?
Yes. What?
Oh, swatting?
For the first time in his life, Felix found himself staring down the barrels of a few standard issue LAPD
What was that
logs.
kick?
A viewer from his stream had found his home address and called the police, reporting a violent threat. This is known as swatting. It's an internet prank that's gotten people killed before. And for Felix,
prank
this was
is-
the moment that changed everything.
Prank is maybe not the word I would use.
He realized that being live meant being exposed, that anyone with a grudge or a twisted sense of humor could reach through the screen and make his real life collapse in seconds. So he started closing doors. No more personal details, no leaks, no risks. His addresses, his circle, and even what he said on stream, all of it got locked down. From that point forward, xQc was split in two. There was the version everyone knew, the chaotic, high-energy streamer who seemed to live entirely online.
I just want to play the game.
And then there was the other side, the one he kept completely off camera. That's where this story gets interesting.
I feel like this is something that's become like a lot more common these days as streaming and content creation in general has like gotten bigger. It's become more and more apparent how many downsides there can be to sharing so much of yourself online. And so I feel like it is, except with the exception of maybe like younger people who are like maybe just like not as aware and like just like aren't thinking aren't thinking things through as much just because like they've grown up seeing everything from a bunch of different people just put online. I feel like for people who have like been around long enough to see, you know, things like swatting happen to various content creators, I feel like it's become more in a way common sense for people to realize like, oh, I should probably like have some reservations about like how much I share about certain things from my life.
Because what the internet thought they were watching wasn't real life. It was a reflection stitched together from a million half-truths. What was actually happening behind the scenes is a whole different story. With Felix's address being leaked online, he realized he needed to move. He left his apartment and moved in temporarily with the girl he had met just a few months ago. Her name was Sammy, a fellow streamer in the Overwatch community, better known as Adept. With a new setup and a new apartment, Felix once again went live.
It's, what time is it? 10? I think it's time to go again.
And from the outside, nothing looked wrong. If anything, it looked better than usual.
Is this working, boys, or what?
He was streaming more than ever, laughing more than ever, making more money than ever.
Does that look like a shark?
Every month, the numbers continued to climb. The chat was bigger, the clips were everywhere, and Twitch was basically becoming his playground. Eventually, Felix found a new place, something more permanent, and Adept moved in with him. Online, they insisted they were just roommates, but whenever they were on stream together, they didn't exactly look like just roommates.
Oh. I can already see this going poorly in so many ways.
Streamers building a life off of the same madness. They'd joke on stream, sometimes argue a little, but the infinitely parasocial chat would eat it up. It felt like a look into his real life. And maybe that's why nobody thought twice when things seemed off. If he changed rooms, it was just a new setup. If he ended the stream early, chat blamed the bad sleep schedule. Little things you only notice when you already know how the story ends. From 2020 to 2022, it was the
Bro.
xQc.
Bro, every time they show a clip of him standing on a chair, whether it's the base of the chair, like the seat or the armrests, spikes my anxiety a little, I'm not gonna lie.
Became Twitch's poster boy. He was the single most watched streamer for 3 years in a row. He'd go live for 10 hours a day, grinding some random game or reacting to whatever was trending, then go to sleep, wake up, and do it again the next day. On the surface, xQc was living the perfect life. He had the fame, the dream car, the $1 million mansion, and the cherry on top of it all, Felix and Sammy finally told their fans what everyone already knew. They were dating. Everyone watching thought, damn, xQc's living the dream. And for a while, maybe he was. But in reality, everything was falling apart. To understand why everything went wrong, we need to rewind, all the way back to 2018. After moving in with Adept, the swattings didn't just magically go away. Somehow, within weeks, his address kept getting leaked online, and once it was out there, it was only a matter of time before the police showed up at his door.
Actually, get me the f out of here, man. I'm so f***ing done with all of it, man. Holy sh**. Yeah, I'll get the f out of here, dude. I'm out to man. I don't want to live anymore.
Felix learned fast. After those first incidents, he made sure it never happened live again. No cameras, no chat reactions, nothing for the trolls to feed on.
We'll be on the move for a little bit, but it'll be fine. I'm not gonna talk about it too much. It's whatever.
But every time he thought he'd found a safe spot, something would slip. One day he'd be streaming from one place, and the next, somewhere completely different.
I'll find a way to get my stuff somewhere that's I can keep it safe. I'll find a way.
Sometimes he'd crash at a friend's house, or head back to Montreal to stay with his parents until he could find a new place. But none of it really felt safe.
Almost every day, the police came to our house with a full squad. I was genuinely scared that I was going to die.
Now, anyone near him, Sammy.
Did he say almost every day? Okay, I'm not going to pretend to have like an intimate understanding of like how to navigate being swatted or like how, you know, various like law enforcement raids logistically, like the organization and logistics of like how they work behind the scenes. But I feel like after this happens like once or twice, I feel like you should be able to like talk to the agency about like, hey, this is what's going on, this is why this is happening. Maybe we don't like actually need to be doing this like with the like huge raid and everything. Like maybe the next time you guys get a call, you like reach out to me and see, hey, what's going on? Like, is there, or like, I don't know, like talk to a neighbor, like, I don't know, this. Not only is it like awful for xQc, and again, just like anybody who has to experience anything like this, but like it also just seems like a massive waste of resources, no? which I'm in the U.S. I know that law enforcement in the U.S., especially just like like local police departments, I know that they just love to blow through tax dollars. But I'm pretty sure they just mentioned Montreal. Now thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that that is one of the things that I did know about XQC. I believe that he's Canadian. I feel like maybe this is just U.S. American ignorance, but I feel like most other countries' law enforcements are not so gung-ho ready to just launch a full-on raid on somebody. I don't know.
Friends, family, were in danger solely because he was there with them.
Just me being around people like endangers them. It's just kind of like unfair for others.
And the worst part, there wasn't really anything you could do about it.
That's a very conscientious
the audience became,
view of
the more
it.
dangerous that 1% of it became too.
I don't know what the is wrong with you guys. I don't know what the is wrong with you absolute degenerates.
Moving became routine. Every so often came a new house with a new setup, and each time it looked the same. A plain, empty bedroom.
I just thought, if I purchase a home and I'm the only person on the title, it's my home, I thought, what could possibly go wrong? And sometimes I realize, like, it just doesn't matter, dude. I can't have shit.
Whether he had an actual setup or not, he'd start streaming regardless. He simply wasn't going to let that 1% of viewers ruin it for the other 99. Over time, he would slowly but surely fill the space. Sometimes it was posters on the wall, or adding a bed, cool lights, or maybe some plants to the stream room. But it seemed like the minute it actually started to feel like a home, like someone actually lived there, the cycle restarted.
Okay, well, I guess we'll move again, and we'll start it again, and hopefully, and it's probably gonna blow up again.
After a while, you could see it wearing on him. The sleep deprivation, the junk food, the constant anxiety, it all started to pile up. Somewhere in that blur of streams and relocations, the pressure began to break through.
xQc is, if you watch his content, renowned for being really, really bad at sleeping.
X has night terrors where he runs through the house screaming.
Felix started having night terrors.
What?
Real physical ones.
This morning, I was bloody. Yeah, I did have a fight, actually.
Wow, that's crazy. When he wakes up to that, do you freak out, Adept? It doesn't scare you?
He'd wake up gasping, disoriented, sprinting across the room trying to escape something that wasn't there.
And so, oh my god.
I just wake up with no air, and I just run.
Oh,
There's like
wow.
Because of it. Look, there's one above the bed. Look at that. Literally ran straight into the wall.
Whether he was with Adept or staying with friends, they would have to pull him out of it before he hurt himself. But sometimes he didn't wake up fast enough.
I woke up and I hurt myself in panic. That's all. So I don't really know what happened. But it should be fine for now, though.
And even then, the very next day he was
man.
still alive. Because for Felix, stopping meant thinking. And thinking was worse.
In a way, when I go live, I have my own little sun or my little spotlight above my head, right? Recently, it's been like, spotlight goes off, and it's just darkness.
I kind of get that.
After years of this cycle,
I kind of get
things
that.
got so bad that he started writing a will. He genuinely wasn't sure how much longer he'd last if things kept going the same way.
I had a bunch of bad.
That's actually so crazy. That's actually so crazy that, like, even if you can, like, I think you can, like, you could be like devil's advocate, like argue like, oh, it's not as bad as he's making it out to be. He's like, he's being dramatic or something like that. But I feel like there is enough here for you to be like, even if you don't necessarily agree, like, it's that bad, I feel like there's enough here for you to be like, that's fair. And the fact that he felt like that, and you can say that's fair, that's really fucked. That's really fucked. Oh, wow. I'd be curious. This is going back a few minutes before the night terrors thing got brought up, but I am kind of curious with some of the comments, like, about the clip showed, like, with him talking about like how moving and everything so frequently. I'm curious, like, just how many times he moved in the whole, like, however long period this is spanning. Because, like, that's also something that, like, that's stressful. Like having to move frequently in and of itself, like regardless of the reason, even if it like wasn't for something as also stressful as swatting, um, just having to move as frequently as it seems like he had to, that's very stressful because it's not something that people necessarily consciously think about unless they've been in a situation where they've been without it. But like not having the stability of a long-term constant shelter is like very mentally taxing. It's very strenuous on you. And so having to be in like an entirely new place and adjust and adapt every like, you know, even just every couple months, let's say. You know, maybe there was even times where he had to move within like a couple weeks or a month, I don't know. But from how this is, you know, being presented to me, it seems like this was probably happening like at least a few times a year. And even if it's just a few times a year, over the course of like a few years, that alone can really start getting to you. I also wonder, they've mentioned like the messiness of his room and like his eating habits with like all the fast food, and shown like all the like bags sitting next to his like his desk a couple of times. And I do wonder, some people are just like slobs, right? Some people are just like live very messily and do just have like fucking garbage everywhere. I do wonder if there was like, if part of that for him is not necessarily like wanting to throw those things away and then like have to take out the garbage because he's worried about that, like the more he goes out, the more like there's a worry of like people seeing him and like being able to better figure out where I don't know. I could be very much reading too much into that particular point, but I do wonder if that was something that was on his mind at all, because a couple of these clips that they've shown where he's talking about the situation, I do feel like he is actually like a somewhat thoughtful and introspective person about his situation, regardless of how spastic he may seem when being entertaining for stream. I am kind of getting the impression that he is actually at least a bit of a thinker. I don't know.
Bad thoughts, things kept happening that were really bad and scary. I felt like I wasn't gonna live very long.
When he began going through what he had and figuring out where it should all go, it naturally fell to his family. But one name wasn't there, Adep's. And when she found out, everything blew to Kingdom Come.
Oh no.
This was the start of something that would turn into one of the most bizarre and public breakups the internet had ever seen.
After that, things just kind of like started like blowing the fuck up, you know?
When Adept found out she wasn't included in Felix's will, the tension between them began to boil over.
Why are you raising your tone?
No, because
You're raising your tone!
Really annoying.
You're raising your tone.
I'm tired of hiding behind this shit that you do every time.
Okay, can you understand that I always do this, and it's not target.
Oh God, here we go.
What started as a couple's argument slowly grew into something much bigger, one that pulled in Felix's family and refused to fade.
Simi, you
I
called
did
my
not.
family psycho, crazy,
You did
conniving
that
ass
too.
crack. I
Went
blamed
against
myself.
our
You
agreements.
talked to me
You
for 3
went
hours,
against our
blaming
private
everybody else.
conversations. I do this with you anymore. You are not a victim here. You have
you're
never
not-
been
you're-
a victim
okay,
here.
okay,
I'm done speaking with
okay,
you.
I'm done
You
as
are
well.
not a victim.
It's okay.
Stop victimizing
I'm
yourself.
sorry. This got too heavy. I'm sorry. Bye.
Over the next few months, things only got worse. Arguments kept resurfacing, and every attempt to fix things seemed to just make it worse.
God, you're so cringe.
Simi, see? Classic. Just like before the stream, you say an argument or say your remark, and you leave, and then you're like, I got him, dude. It's not how it works, though.
Eventually, Felix felt like he was cornered, like he had to choose just one, family or Adept.
So part of what makes that so crazy is like, I get that like they're both streamers, and I don't know about Adept, but at least in the case of xQc, like I know they mentioned it in this video, and I also know that like one of the things about him is like he streams a lot. Like he streams like long hours. I don't know about these days, but I know he used to do like 8, 10, 12-hour streams, right? Like regularly. And so I get that like that kind of thing and being perma online as like a streamer couple makes it seem like, oh, these kinds of arguments are like naturally going to happen on stream, but also like, no, they definitely don't need to. They definitely do not need to be happening so publicly. And the fact that some of these things were happening this publicly, it also definitely makes me wonder, like, how bad were things off stream, right? Because even if they are willing to get into it like this on stream, I'm sure that there's still like some level of like, oh, well, I can't say or do XYZ when the cameras are on. You know what I mean? So like that seems awful. Without even necessarily saying like, oh, you know, so and so's in the right, so and so's in the wrong, without even trying to like take sides, so to speak. This just seemed like a bad situation. And it also goes to show, just, you know, one in millions of examples, when money gets involved in like familial and like interpersonal relationships, some people just get very different.
I was cornered into choosing between family and Sammy, and unfortunately what happened is that I kind of just chose family.
And that decision set off everything
Fair.
that came
I think
next.
most people would.
Why are no other streamers talking about xQc divorce? Like how major it is. This
Wait.
ain't like some little thing. They're like, this is major. This is having an impact
divorce?
on him psychologically.
After a string of public arguments and tense on-stream
Did they get
moments,
married?
Adept took things a step further. She filed a claim saying this wasn't just a breakup. According to her, she and Felix were married under common law, which meant she was entitled to half of everything he owned.
Oh, I see.
The dispute moved from live streams to courtrooms. In Texas, official filings started rolling in, and the court stepped
Oh,
in to
I
stabilize
see.
the situation while it played out. Adept was granted exclusive use of Felix's BMW and Tesla. Felix, on the other hand, was suddenly restricted. No more luxury spending, no gambling, nothing beyond the essentials. They were barred from entering each other's homes, and more importantly,
Is that a
forbidden from talking
Rolex?
about any of it online.
Wow.
Essentially, a gag order. Once again, Felix was split in two. The version everyone thought they knew, and the one left behind when the camera turned off. But this time, the internet filled the void. Today, those court records are sealed, but back then, they were open to anyone who knew where to look. A few creators dug them up before they vanished behind closed doors, and with each new filing, the internet got another glimpse into the story Felix couldn't tell himself.
Hey guys.
How's it going? This is Stephen A. Sarch, a journalist who's written for outlets like Business Insider and Rolling Stone. But more importantly, he was one of the first people to break this whole story.
Okay.
The common law marriage itself always seemed really odd to me.
Yeah.
Her only evidence behind the common law marriage was in 2020, they went to Canada and they told the TSA that they were married because that was the only way they were going to get in because of COVID protocols.
A common law marriage basically
Went to Canada. Okay, so maybe he has been living in the States. Maybe he's from Canada, but he's been living in the States. Such a very minor thing, but since I talked about that earlier in discussing like the way that like various law enforcement agencies act upon certain things, I feel like that was maybe worth pointing out that that was something I just picked up on in the specification. Also, I guess since I happened to pause here, good on this guy, this YouTuber, for bringing in like a journalist as part of his like research and preparation for making this video.
means you're married without the ceremony or
Oh
license.
god, AI overview.
There's just 3 requirements. You have to live together, tell people you're married, and both agree that you are. But miss one of those, and it doesn't count.
Felix has never publicly made any sort of statement that the common law marriage was in fact real.
I'm not married!
I don't want to like bash Adept. I don't want to just like say she was grasping at straws.
It is hard to discuss this story without thinking ill of Adept. Because if you just look at the court filings, it does seem fairly malicious.
Her whole document was all about, I need spousal support. Make them pay.
But, you know, taking her opinion into account, it was clear that she felt that she kind of built this guy up and kind of helped him reach the level that he reached.
Okay.
Crazy deals. xQc, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, just took a deal, a 2-year deal, $100 million with Kick.
Wow.
Everyone, when it came
Oh, there's
to
that Kick deal I mentioned
xQc,
earlier.
was focused on
What is going on?
$100 million.
This is a non-exclusive contract for 2 years, meaning xQc gets to have his cake, eat it too, and the baker.
It was and still is.
Man, also seeing Charlie just there they're really bringing clips from like all over the place for this video. Like some effort went into this video. This is some quality. And then also, speaking of that, I mentioned the journalist guy that they brought in for this. One of the first things he said was like the common law marriage angle always seemed like weird to him, and I did also want to add, like, you know, even though I only learned about it like a couple minutes ago, it seemed kind of weird to me too. I think you probably saw it on my face as they were talking about it. Yeah, play the video.
Is the biggest streaming deal social media has ever seen. Yet somehow it came right when xQc seemed to be at his lowest.
I understand that xQc can kind of feel slighted by all of this. Right. You know, I was watching the Impulsive clip earlier, and clearly, you know, this still kind of bothers him.
Felix, I gotta ask you this: are you going to give all of your money to your ex-girlfriend?
Oh man.
Adept, the person who had been in his life for years, was now the person tearing it apart.
The deeper you are invested with somebody, the deeper that you trust them, the harder betrayal will feel when it happens.
True.
What started as a conversation about his
Ooh.
about money and what would
Also,
happen if something went wrong, spiraled into something much bigger. And somewhere along.
Also, very small thing, but notice how he said when, not if. Maybe that's just because he's like talking about like this specific situation, but I don't know. That also, I feel like that shows your mentality. I'm someone who, I think that the words people use, even though it's often subconscious and not meant to be intentional, I think that the words people choose to use when talking, especially about certain like sensitive topics, is often very revealing of their kind of like emotional states. And I don't know, something about the way he said when, not if there, that stung a little.
The way Felix lost someone that felt like home.
I wasn't the best boyfriend at times, but I don't think anybody deserves to feel that level of betrayal ever.
The fallout rolled straight into his family. Words were said, lines were crossed, and even months later, things still hadn't really healed. So he did what he always does when everything falls apart. He streamed, because chat was the only thing that still felt familiar.
At the end of the day, all I want to do is go back to this. I don't want to spend time enjoying the thing that this comes with, right? The status or whatever. All that shit is like, it's just noise. It actually is. It's noise.
Sometimes he'd go live and talk in circles, half-coded rants about things that he couldn't say. You could tell he wanted to open up, he just couldn't. And the longer that went on, the lonelier it looked.
Money just changes people, man. And people say it's changed me. You wanna know why? You wanna do something about me? Everybody around me, just that's all they cared about. It's just money shit. When everybody around me starts caring about it, like
Oh, Dr. K.
Right? Then it annoys me. Because then there's me right here, everybody's next to me, and then everybody's looking past me to whatever I have. And it's like, okay, well, how do I get the focus back on me? That I'll just burn it then. Like that's kind of like logical conclusion almost. Sometimes it feels like I'd have none of the problems I have now if it wasn't for that.
Over time, the streams got.
I wonder if I should watch that Dr. K video. That might be fun. I know a bit about Dr. K. I've watched like some videos of his in the past, not recently, because there was like there was a while where I was watching a decent amount of videos specifically because I knew somebody who was, I guess, let's say, involved with Dr. K. And so I wanted to have like a better frame of reference for like being able to talk to that person about some of the things that they wanted to talk about. But while I do believe that, like, from what I recall, I remember thinking that, like, yes, Dr. K is himself a rather clever and confident individual. I also remember thinking that there were definitely some things from some of his videos that I was like, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I don't believe what he's saying is accurate or true to life or yada yada yada. So but I think that the interviews, I don't remember which ones I even watched. This was years ago that I'm talking right now. But I think the interviews I recall being better than the like presentation style videos, I guess. And so maybe I should watch the XQC one. That could be fun. That could be interesting. It's also very interesting that, I mean, the money thing I kind of commented on earlier, right? The money thing is like, it's obvious, like it is what it is. That's just how people are, unfortunately. And again, there's so many documented instances and like anecdotal evidence to support that, like, that happens when you have money. And yeah, sucks that it feels that way, because I've also seen, like, not many, because I think that a lot of content creators and like influencers, so to speak, I think that a lot of them, when they get big, like they wanted to get big, they wanted the fame, popularity, and prestige, or whatever you want to call it, that comes with being like a big personality. And so I don't think that many of them see the money and all of the other associated things that comes with getting big. I don't think they see it as a negative. And so this is very interesting to hear his thoughts on that dimension to this whole situation.
Shorter and less consistent, but the outbursts and the drama grew. It was like watching someone set fire to the parts of their life that still worked.
I didn't change for the longest time, and it felt like that's all people wanted. So yeah, I bought really dumb shit. I wasted money on the stupidest thing I could ever find. I would rather see that money go up in flames on useless than being given to people that's all they care about.
After months of filings, restrictions, and silence, it finally ended. The court dismissed the case. The claims were dropped. No more orders, no more waiting. For the first time in nearly a year, Felix could finally speak again.
They just gave me the news that I was no longer in any significant legal battle, and it's all over. After months and months sitting in the dark, I actually had something or somebody tell me and validate that my brain was rooted in reality.
In the end, Felix never really escaped the chaos. He just stopped letting it define him. The cameras are still there. The chat still moves a mile a minute. But he's not hiding behind it anymore. When he goes live, it's not to fill the silence. It's because he actually wants to be there. The line between xQc and Felix will probably always exist. But for the first time, it doesn't feel like a mask. It feels more of like a balance. He can log off, disappear for a while, and the world keeps spinning. The stream doesn't have to be his whole life anymore. And maybe that's the real win. Not the contracts, not the numbers, not the record-breaking deals, but finally being okay with just being himself.
Okay, and that's the video. Where to start? I guess, first of all, that was, I guess to talk about the video, that was a very good video. That was very well made. I did like that video a lot. I think that I will probably, I don't know about like right away, but I think I will probably check out some of the other videos on this channel, because this channel does have like a dozen and a half videos that are like this, that are kind of like, I guess like pseudo documentaries almost about various big content creators. And I'm not sure necessarily if they all like try to focus on like one part of that person's story or what, because this was like very much trying to focus on like some of the like trials and like obstacles that he faced in his life once he started becoming a big streamer, and also then the very big point of like the falling out of his relationship with Adept, right? But yeah, they used a lot of clips that I feel like just made the video enjoyable to watch, while also helping to emphasize the points that they were making. And I think the only thing that I would say maybe as a negative to the video would be some of the kind of, I feel like some of these sort of conclusions that they were drawing towards the end about, I guess to an extent throughout, but I think it was more prevalent towards the end, about like xQc's loneliness and like the way that the video creator talked about the way that xQc views streaming did very much feel like a sort of like personal assessment. It felt like their kind of take on what Felix's mindset was towards streaming and like socializing and that sort of thing. And that's not necessarily like bad that they included that. I just feel like the video overall does take a more sort of like informational kind of approach, I suppose you could say. And so it does just feel a little weird that there's just this kind of like personal opinion that's sort of like blended in without necessarily being acknowledged. I don't think it's in any way like malicious, and I don't think that they're like necessarily trying to like convince you of a certain thing, but I think that there's just like, and where this is like a video on xQc, you could also say like you could also like argue like obviously they're going to have like, you know, oh, certain inherent like biases in his favor, or like being like sympathetic towards him or something like along those lines, and that would make sense. But yeah, that was like the only thing. And I don't even necessarily, I said that that's the only like real negative I felt about the video, but even then I wouldn't even necessarily call it like a big negative. Overall, it was a very good video. It's I don't agree with the stance that a lot of people take, which is that like good videos automatically get good views. I think that there is, for a variety of reasons I'm not going to get into right now, but I think that there is a massive amount of luck baked into how well a creator, whether it's a YouTuber or a streamer or whatever, I think there's a massive amount of luck baked into one's success towards becoming a content creator. And so I don't think that just because this video has like over 1 million views, like obviously it should be good. I think there's a lot of videos that get a ton of views that are bad, and there's also a lot of good videos that get like no views. And same thing about streamers and the amount of viewers that they get while they're live. So yeah. And then so that's about the video. And then about Felix, about xQc. I will say, before things started to get dark in the video, some of the clips that they were just showing of like his stream antics, I can kind of see why he was able to catch on. His energy does seem kind of enjoyable. He does seem like a fun personality, but that's not really what this video was about, right? This wasn't about like trying to convince me that xQc is an entertaining streamer. I do, again, it does feel bad seeing how much shit he had to go through. And again, I'm a little curious to potentially learn more about it. I might end up, like I said, watching that like Dr. K video, because I feel like that'd probably be a good avenue to, similar to how I mentioned that the video creator for this video, certain things that they were saying were like very much felt like their opinions that they were kind of like pushing on to, oh, this is how he thinks and feels about XYZ, even though we didn't necessarily have clips that like outright confirmed some of those claims. I feel like hearing directly from xQc, like what he feels about certain things in an interview like with Dr. K, that'd be a good way to get that sort of direct confirmation on like, oh, he thinks and feels this sort of thing. And I think that would also be interesting to hear, because like I said previously, some of the kind of comments he was making throughout some of the clips that were shown in the video, I do feel like indicate that he is a bit more introspective and intelligent than you might assume based on clips of like him being a spaz, or like him like raging out, and like one of the clips was him like smashing a keyboard or something like that. And I do definitely feel like some of the things that he said at various points in this video, in clips that were shown, do feel deeper than what you might assume based on that. So that's interesting. And so I would be curious to kind of hear more about that. Again, from him specifically, from him directly. Because I feel like there definitely are content creators who, like, they are just as shallow as they appear to be, frankly speaking. And so I think it's interesting that, again, one of the biggest streamers to ever stream might not be in that camp. Is that it? I think that might be it. I guess last thing, if there's no chance in hell that this ever actually ends up being the case, but if xQc, if Felix, if you ever end up watching this video, I understand the frustration and arguably despair that comes from feeling like the people around you don't care about or value who you are as a person, and for one reason or another just kind of like are either just like putting up with you or like tolerating you or using you. In your case, it was for money specifically, like kind of like what can this person buy for me? What can they afford me? What can they offer me financially? If you ever want to reach out and talk to somebody who, in my opinion at least, I'm a pretty genuine person, and so yeah, feel free. Again, 0% chance that actually happens, but I thought that might be a way of trying to make the end of this video feel a bit more personal. I don't know. I felt like saying it, so I said it. It is what it is. It's that simple sometimes. Anyways, that's gonna be all for the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. Let me know in the comments what else you might want to see me watch, react to, blah, blah, blah. And until I see you in the next one, take care. Bye.